Here's my audience. Hello, I'm Jonathan Bennett. Today I'll be talking about nuclear power. 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, Chernobyl are 3 catastrophes caused by the nuclear power industry. In all 3 of these catastrophes, nuclear radiation was spread into the environment. In 2 of these catastrophes, people actually lost their lives. And in 1 of these catastrophes, a city went from being a hustle-bustle city to turning into a ghost town overnight at the cost of thousands of lives. Now, nuclear power is too detrimental to be used as a power source. After researching the catastrophes caused by the nuclear power industry, I realized that it has too much of a negative impact on the world and on future generations to come. So today I'll shed light on the problems we face when using nuclear power, the solutions to properly phase it out, and the benefits from severing our ties with nuclear power. But first, you must all understand the problems we face when using nuclear power. And the 2 biggest problems are waste management and safety. So nuclear power is not clean. It produces harmful, toxic radioactive waste that lasts for thousands of years. And it can't be simply stored in a landfill. It needs to be stored in a special facility away from humans and away from the environment. But the problem is, in the United States, we use nuclear energy, but we have no place to put this waste. And according to nuclear physicist Lockbaum, when we decommission a nuclear reactor, all of its nuclear waste stays on site next to the decommissioned, deconstructed reactor, just waiting for a day somewhere in the not so near future where we actually put it away for good. And this is a problem for it risks spilling or any natural disaster happening to it, where radiation could leak out, or somebody coming in contact with it being hurt themselves or hurting others with this radioactive waste. And that's where the real problems lie, is in nuclear accidents. And catastrophes, like I've said, have happened and will continue to happen. And the worst of them all was Chernobyl. According to nuclear physicist John Pearson, in the course of a night, over 100,000 people had to be evacuated when Chernobyl's nuclear reactor completely melted down. And this left the entire surrounding city a ghost town because of the high amounts of radiation, and we still can't live there today. And over the course of several years, 4,000 people came down with things like thyroid cancer as a direct result of coming in contact with high amounts of radiation due to Chernobyl. These are pretty devastating problems that show why nuclear power is a problem, but the solutions to it is quite simple. And that solution being that we need to phase out our dependency on nuclear power and start depending more on renewable energy resources. According to research done by the researcher Sovacool, he summarized, after weighing the pros and cons of both renewable and nuclear energy, that renewable energy is safer for the climate and environment, for it has no toxic radiation risks or greenhouse gas emissions, and it's safer for people to be around, for there's no radiation risks. And it's an endless fuel source in which we don't have to keep making more and more radioactive uranium rods. And there's actually a lower cost, which is beneficial for all people who want it for their homes or just government use. And the second solution to solving the nuclear power problem is often overlooked, but the waste is still here, and we need to find a place to store it. So we need to come together as a society and as a government to actually create a facility, either using ideas that were proposed in the past or finding a new location, so we can finally put all this nuclear waste that is at risk for accident away from humanity and away from the environment. And if we follow these 2 things, it'll create a more beneficial world. And the benefits being a technological boom and a reduction in climate change. So Once we start to phase out nuclear energy, investors will then want to make up for the loss of power by investing in renewable energy resources, which would then increase funding for research and development, according to researchers Kane, Kira, and Tavoni, which will then lead to more technologies and newer technologies like more efficient solar panels or technologies we just haven't even thought of, which will create a more technologically advanced society. And the second benefit of doing this is since we're relying on renewable energy more, we'll have a reduction in climate change. So no longer will we have to worry about any radiation leaks or any greenhouse gases, as we're more dependent on the lower costing renewable energy sources. And according to research done by Comfort, von Herschenhaus, Reitz, Corbett, and Lorenz, by the year 2030, Germany can actually reach its climate goals that it set by not using nuclear power at all and relying heavily on renewable energies, which means that nuclear power isn't even a necessary fuel source. It's an unnecessary risk that we are currently taking. But this future won't come to fruition unless people take action. And so hopefully you understand the problems with nuclear waste and its management, the management of it, and the accident risk. And hopefully you understand the solutions of going forward to using more renewable energy sources and finding a less resting place for that waste. And by doing this, we'll have a more technologically advanced society, and we'll have a greener Earth as a whole. So I encourage you to support renewable energy whenever you can and oppose the advancement of nuclear technologies. I want you guys to strive to imagine a world without nuclear power in which future generations can rely heavily on the safety and security of renewable energy. Thank you.